And what a glorious day it is to my brothers and sisters, and I mean to my human brothers and sisters. Coming at you today to conclude the mysteries of the female. We thought we were going to have it finished with part two, but the subject is so deep that it takes a part three. So let's get on with it, get it over with, and move on. Because we have a lot of beautiful and wonderful, important things to discuss as we move into the future of ourselves, I should say. Therefore, I spent a lot of time talking about the greatness of females, but the male must also be included more in this conversation. Not so much to talk about his greatness, but more about his responsibility. So, as we talked about the greatness of the female, the most important point to be understood is that this does not absolve men from doing their roles. As was once taught to me by Babala, from an esoteric understanding, is that the men are to guard the door while the women work their magic. Now you got to be able to translate that into modern day terms and how that fits us and how we move forward with that thought or that understanding. So that means the men, our responsibility is still to be protectors, to make sure that everything is safe. So to make the female feel safe means to make sure that security is in place, and that she realizes or knows that someone always has her back, and it's you, and that we must pitch in our fair share of whatever's needed, whether we're the breadwinner of the house or not. So don't be neglectful of your own responsibilities as we discuss and try to move forward in understanding these powers of the female, how everything must work in harmony. So she must do her part, but you also must be doing your part for the harmonious moments to exist. So I say to you, let's think about this. Sometimes as we delve into various conversations, even to the point of sometimes being arguments, ask yourself, is there a better way to accomplish this? Because if the argument doesn't come to a resolution, then it was pretty much a waste of time. Definitely the benefit of it has been lost. And when we move forward on these things, there's always a benefit to be gained, so we should be looking for that benefit. And in this instance, the benefit is to be able to maintain the harmony. So let's choose the words carefully. As I have said in the past, we definitely have the throat for creating great vibrational words and speaking as great orators. But the correct words are more important. How we say it, when we say it, and using the words according to who we're speaking to. There's certain things that you already know, many of us, but sometimes we forget. Some lessons have been so long ago that a lot of us have forgotten, many of them. And the ones we've forgotten are more important than we realize until we're in need of them. The situation as it exists today, we are in need of as many important esoteric lessons as we can acquire to move this forward. When I raise my arms, let it be to embrace versus me raising my hand to be a strike. And you can imagine the love that you create one versus the other just from that action. But the thoughts that we entertain will allow us to create the correct actions. The correct actions will give us the responses that we desire. So we are more in control of things than any of us realize in actuality. Um, if you want a positive outcome, you must have some positive input. Otherwise, it's like asking to have something from nothing, which does not exist. And there is a price to pay for all things. And we're not talking about money. Sometimes we may use the word sacrifice. I don't particularly like that word because when you do what needs to be done, it's not a sacrifice. It's doing what the hell needs to be done. It's just that simple. We don't need all these extra definitions that we like to put on things to make them have meaning. So I'm going to say this to the females, that this is a little trickery of understanding because they still have their role to play in maintaining this harmonious times. So if you are involved with a male, doesn't matter what level it's on, but if you say, honey, take out the trash, he goes, grumble, 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 damn trash. Don't respond to that. That's his form of communication. Allow him to communicate and move it on. As long as the garbage gets taken out, because that's all it's about, right? To make sure the garbage is removed. So if he removes the garbage, point accomplished. Nothing else to be discussed. Understanding this is who he is as he is trying to understand and comprehend who you are. And we learn to accept each other for who we are. And we all say it all the time, I'm going to be me. Oh, I'm going to be me. Oh, I ain't changing for nobody. Blah, 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 blah. And nobody's asking you to change for anybody. We're only saying, can you be your better self? And if you can be your better self, then you can create better things between you and the one that are doing the creation. The creating, I should say. So we have more control of the narrative that we have taken responsibility for, and sometimes we don't because we don't want to take the responsibility of controlling the narrative. But we want the narrative to be as we want it to be. Start thinking about these things. Put in the time and the energy to control the narrative, and then things will be as you want them to be. Makes sense to me. It's that easy to create harmony? Actually, it is. We've been misled to think otherwise, and to look at other directions because we want to use all of these highly intellectual definitions and sound politically correct. And what's crazy is that we want to sound politically correct about BS. Things that make no damn sense, but it allows us to feel a little bit more superior than the person that we're conversating with. And when we engage in these moments, it is about a conversation, people. And the better we conversate with each other, the better we all become. And the simple psychology behind it, I'm sure every adult listening is aware of this. If you continue to refer to a child in a negative light, that child will start looking at themselves as being that negative light, which you would have created through repetition, basically. And so if it works that way, it has to work the other way. Without good, there's no bad. With reward, there must be punishment. And so on and so forth. There's a unique balance that exists in all things. If there's hot, there's cold. If there's day, there's night. If there's up, there's down. If there's right, there's left. Nature has taught us these things, and we as human beings, our bodies are designed to balance with nature from this point of view. So we must look at life from a greater point of view than what we have. It's not about I must live and then I die. Are you that blind or that ignorant to realize that there's a journey in between your beginning and your end? What do you do while on that journey? What will you have accomplished other than self-serving? Because to move forward, to grow, is about serving others. And there's a certain sense of pleasure and satisfaction from helping others. You've all experienced it. We have the opportunity and ability to live this on a daily basis. Let's take advantage of it. Let's take advantage of doing it with the ones that are close to us. Imagine what an ideal world would look like and then create one. Now we're delving into the powers of man and woman, because this is a collective energy movement. And so, if we can see it, we should be able to do it. We've used those phrases before. If you can see it, you can manifest it. Well, damn it, let's manifest that which we need more than that which we want. And we're in need of a lot right now. To my human friends, we are in need of each other. And then there are various people who have gone through various programs, and they give us the lesson, and many of them understand it better than the rest of us. And that simple lesson is that we get by with a little help from our friends. So we have great artists who sung about it. We've heard it a million times, but how often have we lived it? We're social creatures, so we're designed to help and be there for each other. Or you might as well live on an island by yourself, and no one does that, you know. Not even Gilligan did it. He was on a deserted island, but he was there with others, which was key to his survival, even though it was a TV show. But the message is what we need to be able to see. And when we watch these shows, many of them do have these hidden messages in them, but we're too busy wanting to be entertained. When actually, it's an opportunity to further our growth of learning. So we just didn't take advantage of it. And we live in times now where we must take advantage of all the great opportunities that present themselves before us, because we don't know when they will come again. And they exist for a reason. And we have to start being aware of this reasoning of things as they exist, as we walk in balance with nature with every waking moment of our lives. What is this thing, nature? Why have we not paid closer attention to it? It's not about the beauty of the trees, it's about the life of the trees. It's not about the pretty flower, it's about the spread and blooming of the flower. Without the rules of nature, that flower wouldn't even exist in your front yard as it does now. Those flowers that exist in your yard that you didn't put there. If you didn't put them there, who you think put them there? Nature put them there by being in harmony. Because nature does what nature is supposed to do according to the natural order of things. And that means there are plenty of lessons to be learned just from watching nature. Because in nature also exists male and female. Male plant, female plant. They seem to get along quite well. I don't know about you, but I've not seen two plants in argument yet. I see the master plant making sure that they all survive in harmony. If we're paying attention, you see that every day. But are we really paying attention, I guess, is the big question that we must ask ourselves and then answer for ourselves as well. Because when we don't answer for ourselves, we have a tendency not to be truthful. And to answer for yourself is to be truthful usually. You know, there are no such thing as secrets, so there's nothing to hide, people. Secrets don't really exist. What exists is that which is sacred. There's nothing more sacred than us. And so, something that is sacred are things that need to be put on a certain esteem, protected from a certain point of view, appreciated, loved, and valued, so that their existence continues, as ours must continue, because collectively we are part of a village, even if we don't think we're in the same village. And the village must outlive us all, because we already know that our time will come to an end physically. And then what waits for us spiritually is yet to be seen, which is kind of a beautiful thing, because we know that something else is waiting for us. Surprise, surprise. But we embrace it according to whatever gods you wish to believe in. We won't talk about your gods today, but everyone's God should be respected equally, as well as that individual. So I really didn't want to prolong this too much about the man, except I wanted it to be understood that the man has a role in this, and his role is important, and he must not neglect it. And I didn't want men thinking that, oh man, all the responsibility is on the woman. I just need to sit back in my chair and watch Sunday football. Well, I like watch Sunday football too, but it's a little more involved than that, I say to the brothers. Our level of responsibility, that is. What we must do to make sure she is protected, so that her magic can not only be worked, but that her magic can be strong. And that puts us all in a happy state. You've heard the phrases, happy wife, happy life. You know, when a household is in order, life becomes so blissful. Why won't we put our energy into making it blissful? I don't know. But we aren't, not to the degree that we should or could be. So part of it might be purely out of ignorance. That does exist. So as we begin to learn more, we do more. So the saying is, when you know to do better, you do better. But if you don't know, then I guess you won't do. But now we know we should. The resources are available. We have become aware that the science does exist. Now we got to be willing to comply with it and commit to it, so that we can obtain the results that were designed for us to obtain. Our journey was not designed to be a hateful one just filled with trying moments and no bliss. But there are trying moments and a little bit of bliss. It should be less trying moments and a little bit more bliss. Let's work for it. So as you say your prayers, as you say your affirmations, be committed to them. Learn to use them correctly to achieve the results that we wish to achieve. And remember this. A lot of times when you look at someone, it is not it is not the person that you dislike or the person that you hate. It is the behaviors that you dislike or the behaviors that you hate. So how do we change some of these behaviors? Because behaviors are learned responses for the most part. So that says that behaviors can be changed. So are we willing to put forth the effort just to change some of the behaviors? And that in itself will make a difference. But the saying is that to change just one thing makes a difference in your life. It definitely makes a difference in your health to change just one thing. You're not talking about being a new you, reinventing you, making New Year's resolutions, etc. We're saying making one change for you to benefit from. So when we do things, not only you get to receive the benefit, but those around you receive the benefit. That makes things worth doing when more of us can receive the goodness from the doing, other than being self-serving. So the self-serving concept is something we want to remove from our minds because it doesn't serve us. And all other things that we come to a realization that don't serve us or serve our situation need to be removed from our minds. So hopefully you've taken some mental notes and picked just one thing to work on. Let that one thing make a difference in your life. And it will lead to other things changing as well. So people many times say, I can only live one day at a time. Guess what? All of us can only live one day at a time. It's a matter of what do we do with that one day at a time that we're living. How are we living it? So do not be afraid to live your life, but as you're living your life, share part of your life. And others will be more compelled to share part of theirs with you. And then we all will become fulfilled as nature continues to allow us to exist. So make the journey one that is remembered. So when our time is to transition from this physical plane, let your journey be your footprint. That is what you want people to remember about you, is what was done while you were on your journey. Let that be the inspiration to others. So in the words we use, we got to say those type of things. How do I inspire the next person to do something greater than what I did? How do I inspire the next person to become better than what I am? How do I inspire someone other than myself? Now, the footprint in our journey stands out as something of meaning. That, yeah, we were here, and yeah, we made a difference. Let us be about that. I guess as the young people say sometimes, they used to say, be about it, so we got to be about it. We got to find this harmony that is designed to exist between male and female energy and make it work. Take it to greater heights than we have ever seen. It's just like athletes come out and do this all the time. You know, there was Bill Russell, there was Kareem, there was Kobe, there was Michael Jordan, there was LeBron James. So great players keep repeating themselves as they exist. Let's do the same thing as just people. We ain't got to be great basketball players. We're not going to be Jim Browns, the Herschel Walkers, et cetera, but our greatness can be inspiring to the children who come behind us, and we will be their role models. To this day, my father has been my role model, although he has transitioned. But during his whole existence, he was my role model, which was to make him proud. And there's no reason that that type of mindset should not be continuing to exist as we carry ourselves forward. Let's be the role model for the next person coming behind us. And then we will have had left giant footprints on our journey. So we always talk about standing on the shoulders of those giants who came before us. I challenge you. Do not stand on their shoulders. Learn to grow as tall as they were so that you can be a giant that stands beside them. Don't nobody want your butt standing on their damn shoulders. Guess what? That doesn't make you any taller. You're still 5'5", no matter whose shoulders you're standing on. What your accomplishments are still the same accomplishments, no matter whose shoulders you're standing on. So be a giant in your own right. Raise your shoulders up to theirs so we can inspire someone else to continue to raise their shoulders. And that is the pattern that we want to have. So that now we are on a journey of raising nothing but giants. Wow. That's a legacy in itself. One that we should not miss the opportunity of being able to do. So understand your purpose here. By here, I mean on this planet. Do something with it. Be happy. And happy will find you. Otherwise, we've missed the point. So, as we close out or prepare to close out today, look for us next week as well, because a newer message is coming from a different perspective, but a message that is just as well needed as those before it. On that note, I thank you. Peace.